Jared Parry for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Our Kings. Delighted to be joined here by Frank Smith, Edwards Yafai press conference. Probably one of the best domestic fights this year.
100%. And we knew we had to deliver these kind of fights. You know, this is a real fight, respect between the two of them, but a proper fight, and we're going to be in for an interesting night.
You say there's respect between the two of them. That's been quite clear, even like we've seen Sonny very humble at the press conference yesterday. However, the brothers, Charlie Edwards, former world champion, Cal Yafai, former world champion, Gamal Yafai, former European champion, them three have seemed to have had a bit to say to each other this week.
Yeah, look, part and parcel, there's a lot of history between Cal and Charlie, a fight that never happened. You know, Gamal is also, you know, look, they're passionate as well about their brothers. That's the truth. And I think what's been great to see is the two fighters respect each other and they know how good each other are. And then you've had the little storyline in the background between the brothers. So I'm excited because it's a real fight. And this is a fight I believe we could see a few times as well. Because there's not too many options at the division for both guys. And I think if it's a great fight, we will see multiple rematches.
I was going to say, it's an interim world title fight, so you'd obviously think the immediate step next would be the winner goes on to fight for the full world title against Kenshiro Taraji. But you said these two, like Galal's only had 8 fights, you know, Sonny is, well, you know, Sonny, you know, he fights anyone. Like you said, this could easily be a trilogy, maybe even further on.
Yeah, for sure. You know, look, everyone's going to want to win that full world title, obviously, as you say, but at the same time, it's about what makes commercial sense as well for fighters. And you'll see tomorrow night in the arena, it's going to be packed out in there. Because these are the fights people want to watch. These are the fights you can bring a fan base in for. I think our team have done a tremendous job, you know, especially from a build-up promo content perspective, in the build-up to this fight as well, selling the story, selling the narrative. And I think that's what we're going to continue to grow and develop and improve upon, is that side of things. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting next steps for both of these guys, but I could definitely see them coming together again.
Following the press conference yesterday, Sonny went on, said in a few interviews he wasn't too happy about how they got moved. He believes it's because of Chisora Valin was announced yesterday, and that was the press conference time when they swapped them around. His argument was that fighters should be they're weighing in literally 12 hours later. What did you make of Sonny's comments?
Yeah, look, Sonny is someone who's very open with his thoughts. I get on well with him, and I can understand. Like, I can sit here and understand from a fighter's perspective why they would prefer it to be earlier in the day. Obviously, the Saudi press conference is very late in the evening as well, on the night before. So, you know, fighters are getting used to it. But I get his comments. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not the one making weight. You know, so. But I think he, you know, the other thing with the Chisora press conference, yeah, well, you don't really want to clash. You want all the media to be across the two shows. So. You know, I take it not with a pinch. It's obviously important to us that we make sure, you know, the fighters' feelings are paramount and of importance. That's something we think about. It probably was a little bit like, you know, I'm just being open. I'm not going to sit here and lie, and you know, but I'm sure I saw Sonny earlier. He was okay, you know, but he's one of those. He speaks his mind as and when.
Earlier this week, we caught up with Benn Shalom at a media day in Liverpool. We brought up to him about the comments that you made about him maybe like not sticking with Sky much longer, Sky not wanting to keep him on, and his response was, he said Frank's like a Twitter troll. What do you make to that?
I rang him, and I was ringing him about something else. I said, I can't believe you called me a Twitter troll, and he said, oh, did I? He said, oh, sorry. I said, don't worry, I've called you much worse. So, look, the only thing that ever frustrates me is I never come out with comments about people or things, situations, without being asked a question. You know, this perception that I'm hooked on talking about, I just get asked questions and I give my response, and I give very straight answers. Like, I don't lie. I tell you the truth. My opinion, rightly or wrongly, and you don't have to listen to my opinion. It's irrelevant to you. So if someone asks me, do you think they're going to keep their Sky deal? I'd say, I'll give you my opinion on if I was a Sky executive, what I would be thinking. You don't have to agree. Why do you care about what I'm irrelevant to you? So, like, don't worry about what I say. You know, but the idea that I bring things up, I don't ask people to ask me questions. I just answer questions. You ask me a question. You want clickbait. You want me to say something a bit divisive. That's the reality of it. And I will always give an honest view. I don't create some lie. In terms of Because I saw he went on to say about my Japan deal as well. Yeah, hasn't gone great. That's life. I'm not sitting here lying, and we're going through a process with that. But that was Japan was the 15th market I've worked in and put on successful events in the past. So we can all come at each other and say things. It's what it is. I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, it's been great. No, it hasn't. It's quite public, quite obvious,
Can you elaborate on the Japan deal at all?
Yeah, look, there's an ongoing legal dispute with it, and hopefully we get something settled soon. We signed a long-term deal, and we're seeing where that falls.
Obviously, Kieran Conway's on this card. He was actually a winner in the quarterfinals. Is there any intention to pick up the quarterfinals maybe on like a UK show, or do it somewhere else, or maybe even this could all resolve itself?
It was important for us that we tried to keep the fighters active. I've been speaking to Mick Hennessy about Aaron McKenna as well, and the Japanese guys are actually fighting. So does the tournament continue? Probably not, in all honesty, in terms of do the fights happen elsewhere. But it was important that we kept the fighters active, and that was always something I said to Kieran as well and his team, was regardless of what happened there, you'd be fighting. And like I say, I have the conversation with Mick as well about Aaron.
I've got to talk then, in the news this week, Conor Benn, UCAD on appealing against the NADP. And then he's now gone on and called out Mario Barrios in Spanish and everything, so he really wants that fight.
He said, Vamos Barrios.
Yeah, that's the one. And he's now, well, everyone was drawing lines towards the Chris Eubank Jr. fight, but then reports now come out that he is negotiating with Erislandy Lara. What do you make of the whole situation?
I had meetings with Benn Shalom earlier this week in London. I've spoke to him on the phone multiple times as well this week. I don't think the Eubank fight is looking likely, because I don't think everyone's going to be sensible with it. I think Conor Benn's in a great position. He's undoubtedly the number 3 biggest star in British boxing, Joshua and Fury, and then Conor Benn. Back in the day, Eubank was bigger than Conor Benn, when we first made that fight. But Conor has been spoken about day in, day out for the last 2.5 years by you guys, by every publication. He's been everywhere. So at the end of the day, he's in a great position, and he's young, and he's got a lot of time to make big fights and be involved in big fights. He wants to become a world champion. Chris is in a different position, where he's probably got a year left of his career, wants the biggest fights, wants the biggest paydays, but he has to be sensible, and the terms have to be sensible. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think they are going to be sensible. It's quite an easy fight to make, but I don't think their side's going to be sensible with it.
Next one I want to ask you about, Dan Raphael reported a card in Riyadh February 22nd.
If it's real, it's an amazing card.
I was going to say some big names in there. Can you give us any sort of number on how accurate that is?
No, nothing to do with me, mate. It's a Riyadh season show.
I did ask Eddie now earlier. Obviously, Bivol Baturbiev 2 is one that is slated for that card. Obviously, I know you're not going into too much detail about it. One thing I will ask you, if that fight gets made, there was a mandatory put on Beterbiev. Have you had any talks to the IBF to know if that's going to be for undisputed?
Look, I think from our perspective, if Bivol fights Beterbiev, we want it for the undisputed. I believe we can do. I think it's the right thing for the sport to keep that fight for the undisputed. Dimitri Bivol deserves his opportunity, and I hope he'll get it.
Frank, I've seen everybody else has left, so I'll leave you go too. So thank you very much for your time, mate.